let's take this spindle and we're gonna do some Andean plying. And it's just an Andean plying bracelet. And you gotta find your end. That's one of the things with silk hankies, is that you wanna make sure that you don't lose your ends. They do tend to fly into themselves really well. So maybe not the end, or put a piece of tape or something on the end, just something so that you know where it's at. Let's do a little Andean plying. I always start by putting it on my thumb, and then it goes, whoops, let's see, from thumb to the middle finger and back to the thumb. And I'm going around the hand. Can you see how that looks? And then how it looks on the back. That's how it should always look. I mean, it's gonna look like there's more here and clearly more in the front, but we're gonna follow those lines, okay? So, it's from thumb, around the middle finger, back to the thumb. Around the back of the hand, so I'm on the other side of the hand, middle finger, back to that. So that is all it is, and it's just going back and forth. And the thing about hankies, and I need to warn you about this, and I'm only doing this because I have a very small amount of hankies. I will sometimes do this with something that there's so much of it that I'll fill up my hand once, pull it down off of my hand, fill it up again, pull it down, fill it up again. With hankies, I'm not gonna do that. These things will cut the circulation off of your hands. They are rough and tough. And I'm not talking about rough and tough as in they scratch and get stuck on your hands. I'm talking that it is just a very tough, can you see that? It's tough. And you can see how tight and tough that is. And we just don't want to do a ton of that just because it's painful. The thing you can do if you're doing a lot of hankies and you want to keep doing them in this method, it's a book and a popsicle stick. You just take I have a couple pictures on my blog if you want to search for it, Andean plying on the blog. And the blog is Boogie Blather. So if you want to search for that, and the link is also on the Spunky Eclectic website, so that you can just kind of go there and find all the links. You can just use a book and a popsicle stick. It shows you how to do that there, and that way you're saving your hand a little bit of pain. There's also some sellers on Etsy, some nice woodworkers that make really beautiful ones that work really well. So I got that off my hand. I had kept that first one on my thumb so that I could find it. When that second one came off, I have that, and you can see right there? That's the little mark that the silk made. And I don't have that much silk, but you can imagine if I did a lot, what would happen. So I just knotted the two ends together and looping my end through, and in the opposite direction that the singles were spun, I'm doing this. Now, I am holding this in an awkward way. This is not how I would hold to spin for any length of time. I'm just doing this so that you guys can see kind of how it works. And I'm also sitting. If I'm doing plying, I'm usually standing up, and I'm doing a little bit of spinning around a corner because plying can be really, really fast. And eventually I'll show you guys how to do all of that. But right now, I'm just doing this because this is the Mojo Challenge, and I'm showing you how it's working. So you can see the plying a little bit better on this one because there seems to be a little bit more variation in the color. This particular hankies were dyed in the Spunky Eclectic colorway of Burning Bush. So it has a lot of deep blues, a little bit of green, and some yellow, oranges, and reds. You can see that's just how it is. You just keep going and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. And I'm going to stop here because I've got a little bit longer to go and you don't need to keep watching me spin and spin and spin and spin. So if you guys have more questions, ask them. I'm happy to answer them. So sometimes I'll be able to answer on the blog, sometimes here on Instagram, sometimes on YouTube, depending on where you guys are asking the questions. Oh, and Facebook. I do have a post up on Facebook, and I'll put another one up and a link to the YouTube video when I get it loaded to YouTube. There's the Spunky Eclectic group, and everything is also on that group. So hopefully I'm linking everything enough so that you guys are seeing everything and you're able to have access to all of these videos and continue to have access to them. I know not everybody is going to spin now, but it may be that you go through a fiber show. New England Fiber Festival and The Gathering are both coming up this weekend, and there's going to be vendors there. So you might come across silk hankies and you are thinking, no way am I trying this. But you see it and you want to play with it. So now you need to know how to do it. And so I wanted to have these videos so that you can go back and look for them and figure out how to do this all. So if you've got questions, ask them. If I'm not answering them, and it was a polite question as opposed to some of the questions I've seen on YouTube, not on my videos, but on other people's. If it's an earnest question and it hasn't been answered, it just means I haven't seen it. And if it's urgent to you, try to get a hold of me another way. Email is through the shop is usually a pretty good way to get a hold of me, because if I forget to message, my husband yells at me about it. So do what you have to do, learn, and ask for help. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.